chronological kind of through your life, and then we have random questions. So
Why don't you do the chronological first?
yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
This is recording. Okay, so first of all, tell us, where were you born? Where were you born?
I was born in Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Yeah, awesome. And
It's
then,
part of the Midwest in the United States of America.
Awesome.
okay, and then tell us like a little bit about your parents.
My father was born in Valders, which is a small town outside of Manitowoc. My mother was born in Two Rivers. My father graduated high school after quitting at 8th grade, and his father, who was a dentist in St. Nazianz, told him that's not very smart. So my father was working in a number of industries and decided that his father was correct, and then decided he'd approach the school and said he'd like to return, but only on his terms, which is he wants to complete it as rapidly as he could. And he did the 4 years of high school and I think 2 years, he said.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
And then he eventually was working in the automotive industry, fixing automobile and truck radiators, which would leak and they'd have to be fixed because otherwise the engine couldn't be cooled. He did that working for others, and then he started his own business in Manitowoc.
Oh, cool.
20 years. Well,
What was his
he's dead
business?
now. Pardon me?
What was his business?
Fixing automobile
Oh, nice.
radiators and heater units and the gas tanks as well. And so the various garages that would work for people fixing cars would bring their work to him, the radiators, he'd fix them, and then they'd come pick them up and took care of it.
Wow, that's cool.
My mother was born in Two Rivers. Her father, after having a couple daughters, moved to south of Manitowoc on a farm and had a total of 8 children,
Wow.
7 of whom were girls. My mother didn't like it because farmers don't have a staff, they have family that works. So the girls were doing field work, farm work, and my mother would get sick every time she would drive out. We'd take her in the country to show her the farmhouse. She didn't like doing that. She went to 8th grade and that's all she did.
And then did she just, like, she didn't have a job when you
Oh.
were a kid, or what did she do?
She ended up working at Mirror Aluminum, which was a 6-story building in Manitowoc, which was the highest building.
Mm-hmm.
And they would make aluminum cookware, pots, pans.
Oh, no. So was it like
Cool.
a factory?
It was a factory. And
That's
she
cool.
was doing factory work, lost part of her thumb on a machine.
Oh, wow.
Really? How? Just cut it off?
But, you know, so thumbs are like this, her thumbs were like this.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. And what did that happen when you were born or before you were born?
This was before she was married,
Okay.
so she lost her thumb,
Wow.
part of it, and didn't want us doing any factory work as kids.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. And did she work in the factory once you were born, or then she
Did I?
stayed
No,
at home?
I never did factory work.
Okay.
I did a variety of things. I started working probably about 10 years old.
Wow.
Spend the summers working.
Yeah.
I'd get paid 2 and 3 cents a pound for picking beans.
Oh, okay.
3 pounds for yellow beans, 2 cents for green beans.
Wow.
And there was a farmer who had been able to use city property about 3 blocks south of our house. We walked down and picked beans, start at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish about 4.
Wow.
And all that money went in the bank.
That's good.
Wow. So how many siblings did you have and what were their names?
2 siblings. My brother Fred, my other brother Lloyd, and my sister, 3 siblings. And my sister Lona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were your relationships with them like when you were young?
I was senior.
So, okay. So you're the boss.
Well, I did most of the work.
Mm-hmm.
I probably got most of the blame.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We were disciplined, different than many kids are now. We did not get that.
Okay.
We got garden hose treatment
What does that mean?
over my father's knee, pulled down the underwear hose.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds horrible.
And what?
Sounds horrible.
It was.
Yeah.
That was designed so you didn't do that again.
I bet. So did he just do that to you or he did that to all of your siblings?
I think Lona got off without that,
Okay.
but all the boys, yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
Who were you closest with out of your siblings?
Say that again?
Who are you closest with out of your siblings?
Well, my brother Fred was 2 years behind me.
Yeah.
Lloyd about 2 years behind Fred. And Lona about 2 years behind Lloyd.
Okay.
Fred was in some activities with me. I spent a lot of time in Boy Scouts, and
Mm-hmm.
he eventually became a Boy Scout. I was on the wrestling team in high school. He was on the wrestling team.
Okay.
I went into medicine, he went into dentistry.
So very similar.
Yeah. So what was your favorite thing to do growing up? Like what hobbies, activities? You said Boy Scouts and wrestling. Like what did you like to do in your free time?
We did a lot of hunting and fishing with my dad. We had hunting dogs. The dogs were kept in cages. He had an outside cage on the garage, hole in the wall, an inside cage which had huts made of insulating material. So if it was 0 degrees outside, didn't matter. The dogs were warm.
Mm-hmm.
He had straw inside the inside cage. I did a lot of the feeding, and as I got older, the other kids took over. But fresh water, and the dogs were fed table scraps.
Oh wow.
And when there weren't enough table scraps, then dog food in the bag you buy at the
Mm-hmm.
store or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids were in charge of feeding fresh water every day. They were fed once a day.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And you had how many dogs? 2?
No, over my time probably had maybe, I don't know, 5, 10 dogs.
Wow.
Wow.
They were hunting dogs. If they didn't perform very well in the field, they were sold.
Oh really?
Other hunters had dogs that didn't perform very well. They were shot.
Oh wow.
So they were working dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't pets. They weren't in the house.
Yeah.
Never in the house.
Wow. Wow. So when you sold them, did they just go to other families as a pet, or they went to other people?
It's a hunting dog.
Okay.
We had beagles. You know what a beagle looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were for driving rabbits, which means getting the scent and then
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah.
and rabbits hear that and they take off and you see the rabbit and then you shoot the rabbit.
Oh okay.
They had squirrel dogs, which were something like Cleo. They were a variety of different breeds.
Mm-hmm.
And they would see the squirrels in the woods and chase them and
Wow.
bark in the tree. And that told us, the hunters, Cleo's ancestor has a squirrel up
Right.
the tree.
Yeah.
And you go up there and you see the squirrel running around.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to shoot it, the squirrel, it's always on the other side. It goes on around the tree, so you can't shoot.
Yeah.
And so, if there's more than one person, the two of us, you have the other person walk around the tree. The squirrel would see the movement of the person walking and would come on this side of the tree, where the one with the gun would be able to shoot it down.
Oh, okay. And then what did you do with all of the animals that you hunted
Took them home, cleaned them.
and ate them?
My mother cooked them.
Oh, wow.
She didn't really like handling them though. My father would have them in a sink in big basins in water, so just to flush them. And he'd, say really, well, that squirrel looks nice, etc. My mother said, rats,
Yeah, so then you would eat squirrel?
rabbits, squirrel, pheasants, ducks.
Wow.
Oh.
Did you have a favorite to eat?
Squirrel was great.
Oh, really?
Rabbit's okay. Pheasant tasted much like chicken,
Mm-hmm.
and ducks play much like farm ducks.
Yeah.
But satisfied for my mother didn't like cooking the wild game.
Yeah, I bet.
But
Yeah.
she was very happy to do it. And she'd be eating something else, and my father and the boys would be eating the wild game, and Lone would probably be eating what my mother had.
Yeah. And I know your mom cooked and baked a lot. What was your favorite thing that she would make?
That was my favorite thing. Lemon pie was outstanding.
Okay.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
She made all her bread.
Oh, wow.
She only had homemade bread.
Wow.
She made the pies and made everything from scrap. Basically, she didn't go to the store to buy a mix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there was anything at that time, but
Yeah.
we didn't have it.
Wow. So you liked her desserts most? Or did you like any of her, dinner? What was your favorite dinner that she made?
Chili was great.
Okay.
She was a good cook. Everything she
Everything
did,
was
she
good?
was very good.
Good. Awesome. Let's see. And then you kind of talked about in your activities Boy Scouts. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Boy Scouts?
Okay, our home was 2 blocks from the school, which was St. Mary's Catholic School, where I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the scouting was in church or religious establishments. This was St. Mary's school, church.
Mm-hmm.
They had a scouting unit. And I started there, or maybe 8 years old when scouting would start.
Mm-hmm.
I first started in the Cub Scouts and went through all the badges there. Then I was old enough to join the Boy Scouts, and I went through all the badges there, up to Eagle Scout.
Wow.
And at that time, I think it was 8th grade when I got the Eagles badge. And I then went to 9th grade, which was a junior high school, which was 2 blocks the other way, Washington Junior High School.
Mm-hmm.
And I got assigned to a homeroom teacher. And he was in charge of the student council. And he had each homeroom select an individual to get on the student council.
Mm-hmm.
And he picked me. I could never figure it out. I think it was maybe the Eagle.
Yeah.
And from there I went to Lincoln High School, which was a mile the other way,
Oh, wow.
and it took me about 20 minutes to walk there. Walked all my schools, I walked back and forth. If the weather was bad, my dad would drive us.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln High School was 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I was in a homeroom kid behind me that kept picking on me, and he was from the rich part of town. His father was a banker. He was a jock, high school football, etc. And he'd be messing my hair. And outside, his locker was next to mine. And I was doing something, and he came out and messed up my hair. My dad always says, "You're in a fight, hit him as hard as you can." Hit him with the solar plexus, which was the upper abdomen. And I did. Just him, and he went flying, spit coming out of his mouth.
That's awesome.
All the girls looked back.
Did he hit you back or?
No, he was on the ground.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Never did anything before. Didn't mess with me.
Yeah.
I was in the high school cross country team, high school wrestling team.
Mm-hmm.
After graduating, I then went to University of Wisconsin, Manitowoc,
Mm-hmm.
which is an extension center.
Yeah.
That was maybe a mile the other direction, sort of northeast actually.
Yeah.
They didn't have a building of their own. They had rented space in the vocational school where they had instructors come up from Madison to teach
Wow.
political science, math, chemistry, English. Basically the basic
Yeah.
first 2-year classes.
Uh-huh.
After I finished there, I transferred to Madison as a junior and spent 2 years there. I got my bachelor's degree. I had a degree in some form of biology,
It was zoology, right?
zoology.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean working in zoos. That means working with the biology
Mm-hmm.
part of the zoology, the animal part of biology.
Yeah.
And at that time I thought I might want to be a forest ranger or a game warden, probably because of my hunting experience, fishing. So I got a degree in zoology, and then I applied to med school, and I got in. I spent the entire 4 years of medicine in Wisconsin. First 2 years are basically classroom, a lot of biology, learning about the body,
Mm-hmm.
anatomy, physiology, all that. And the last 2 years are basically dealing with patients. Did all of that, and then after that period, which was 4 years, I graduated with my MD degree.
Mm-hmm.
Still hear more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Then I was done with school. That was the Vietnam War era, and the military was short of doctors. They were in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and so it came time after I graduated med school to do an internship. And internships are done in many hospitals, many university settings. The military had internships.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured, gee, if I intern in the Army, I could maybe get a better place to go,
Yeah.
because the doctors were going to Vietnam, that was
Mm-hmm.
certain. And I got selected in the Army. I went to Madigan General Hospital, Fort Lewis, Washington, which is just across the border from Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Spent 2 years as an intern. Vietnam was getting more active. I remember when I worked in the emergency room at the hospital there, we got planes in, big planes, had no seats. They had cots stacked up and wheelchairs. People that were injured in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
they would, if they were very serious, they would go from Vietnam to Japan. to just be stationed,
Mhm.
have the temporary cast, etc., taken off, and the plane was full. Straight shots are
Wow.
traumatic. I remember the first time getting called down to the air saying we got, there's a term they call air vaccine, and they'd come off just a line of carts or
Wow.
wheelchairs. And so we take care of what we could in the emergency room. Those that didn't have to be treated there would be admitted.
Mhm.
And we, the interns, would see them later that day. I remember one, it was my last case of the day, it was about midday. I got to the bedside. I was in the neurosurgery unit. And there was a girl sitting there.
Wow.
She was a friend or girlfriend or wife of the patient here. This guy had his head blown off.
Wow.
This part just missing. So I had to get him ready for the next day, and that's the kind of things we'd see.
Wow.
A lot of injuries.
Mhm.
Sometimes they'd have upper and lower extremities, plus abdominal injuries or chest injuries.
Mhm.
I like doing orthopedics in the Army,
Yeah.
and one of my last months was on the orthopedic service. And I was in the clinic taking care of patients. And I heard at that time that the Army had an on-the-job training for certain medical specialties, radiology, orthopedics, others. And I figured, gee, I really like orthopedics. If I go to Vietnam as an orthopedic trainee, I'll do better than if I'm in the field with the troops as a
Yeah.
Mhm.
medic.
Yeah.
And I remember the chief of orthopedics was a colonel, and he was in the clinic with me that day, and I said to him, Colonel, sir, Army doc,
Mhm.
I heard the Army's got OJT programs. You have any in radiology and orthopedics? I said, yeah. I said, I'd like one of those. He said, well, I can't give it to you. He said, I can call Washington tonight, though.
Wow.
Next day he says, you're going to Virginia next week. That was the end of the term I had there. So Mom and I drove to Virginia
All the way from Washington? Wow.
Wow.
in our brand new Volkswagen. Remember driving, we took turns.
Mhm.
I remember it was Montana, we were coming up a hill and I was driving, and all of a sudden a horse appears from the side of the road, a wild horse. He would just stop. Best we couldn't have avoided the horse, but that's the kind of things we encountered.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to drive
Drove
across?
to Wisconsin, spent a couple days with my folks and then with Sandy's folks.
Mhm.
It took maybe, we drove full-time, got as far as South Dakota, and spent part of the day there resting and sleeping.
Mhm.
Then took off again. I think it was nighttime we took off.
Wow.
And from South Dakota drove to Wisconsin, probably one day. Most of it nighttime, I remember.
Mhm.
Wow.
Spent some time visiting my parents
Mhm.
and Sandy's folks, which live in the Milwaukee area. And we drove to Virginia in our brand new Volkswagen. Spent 6 months there, learning more orthopedics,
Mhm.
seeing more Vietnam casualties, plus ordinary orthopedics. And then it was time for me to go to doctor's basic training in the Army
Mhm.
which isn't field type, it's classroom learning about the Southeast Asian diseases which would be seen. And at the class, this was in Texas, it was in Texas, Grandma went to stay with her parents in Milwaukee. And the guys I roomed with were from other parts of the US. And they said, we're going to Mexico over Thanksgiving. Why don't you come with us? So I went down there and it was fine. But before that, at the classroom, guys would be called out for their assignments to Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
And, excuse me, I gotta sneeze here.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Not ready yet. We went to Texas for 6 months for doctor's basic training, classroom, basically, but we had to do some things, go through the gas chamber.
Wow.
So we had to wear a mask on and open the door. There's a door on the far side. Don't take your mask off. But when you get out, you can take it off. Then you gotta give the sergeant your name, rank, and serial number. It was Bast, had a serial number, and had to show him something, remember what. But that was our training, and did some other things. I had to shoot the rifle. And they had the doctors in a trench with the sergeant overhead, so 2 doctors, 1 sergeant. Some of these guys had never handled a gun. I said, oh, come on, this is rinky dink. Some guys were foreign, a lot of Indians who became doctors in the Army, and they had never handled a gun. And the Army was making sure that nobody was going to get injured.
Yeah.
The sergeant was up there, and he'd say, okay, this is a bullet. Any of you guys ever handle a gun? Okay. You know what to do with it? He goes, okay, tell me what you're going to do. And I told him. And he said, okay, all you people are going to do the same thing. And so he said, okay, then fire down range. And they had all kinds of doctors lined up. And they had a microphone system, and okay, ready, aim, fire. Of course, it gives you a kick.
Yeah.
And then take the shell out, let him do that, pass it to the thing with 3 of us in a hole in the ground, basically, acting as a thing that soldiers may be in. I took care of that, and then go back to the classroom, and called me out and said, you're going to Bangkok
Wow.
and go get your orders. So I go get the orders from the sergeant.
Mhm.
I said, where's Bangkok? Oh, I don't know, look it up. Sir,
Yeah.
so I called my chief colonel back in Virginia, and I said, the other guys in the class are getting called, they're going to Vietnam. I got called on and said, I'm going to Bangkok, but they wouldn't tell me where it is. They told me to look it up. He said, I suggested to the Army you go to Bangkok. He said, I think it's the best assignment in the Army,
Yeah.
and take your wife.
And so were you happy that you got placed in Bangkok instead of
Yeah.
in Vietnam?
Well, I was a little concerned because they sent me there as chief of orthopedics. I
Wow.
said, come on.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
There was one other guy there who had less training than me, working in the orthopedic clinic.
Wow.
So I became his supervisor. I didn't think I would want to be doing surgery on my own at that point, with only 6 months.
Yeah.
So I picked only cases I thought I could handle, and I made the acquaintance of an orthopedic surgeon at the Seventh-day Adventist Hospital. So he was there as a missionary.
Uh-huh.
And I drove over to him and said, I want to talk to
Yeah.
Dr. Carlson. I told him what I had. I said, I'm an OJT, on the job training orthopedic surgeon. I'm chief of orthopedics at the Army,
Yeah.
but I don't feel comfortable doing everything. I said, can I work out an arrangement with you that you can come over as my consultant and assist me with the surgery, actually do the case, and I'll assist you. So we worked that out.
Wow.
And so how can I pay you? I don't know. So I asked my chief of the hospital, I said, I did this. Is this okay? Yeah. So how do I pay him? He said, well, can't pay him cash. We can give him antibiotics or vitamins, etc. So we exchanged that way.
Wow.
Oh.
And he would see patients with me at select cases that I didn't know exactly what was going on or
Mm-hmm.
difficult. And have him come over every couple of weeks and I'd present those cases to him and say, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's this. Well, I think he needs that operation. I don't know what's going on. So when I had surgery at my hospital, he'd be there helping me. And every Sunday I'd go over and help him. Sunday was a work day for the Adventists.
Wow.
We did a couple of things together. We went up the River Kwai. You ever hear of the movie Bridge on the River Kwai?
Yeah.
It's in the West River.
Wow.
And it's on the Cambodia Thailand border. And we drove to a little village from Bangkok on the river. Found a guy that we could rent a boat from. The Thai boats were long and narrow with a real long shaft, the propeller out, because the river wasn't necessarily deep.
Mm-hmm.
And we found that there was a missionary half a day's trip upriver without. Thought he was a doctor, he wasn't. He was a nurse. He had his wife there, and he had a son there. The son was in the bedroom all the time. He had a big head. You may have heard of the term water head, or hydrocephalus is the medical
Mhm.
term. Hydro water,
Yeah.
cephalus head. And I said, I want to sort of see what you're doing. And so he showed us, he's taking care of the people there. He was a nurse from Australia, a
Mm-hmm.
male. And we did that for a couple of days and we took the boat back down ourselves. And about 2 weeks later, I was working in the hospital and the nurse comes up and said, there's a taxi outside and they say they were sent here to see you specifically.
Oh wow.
I said, it's an Army hospital, I don't deal with taxis. No, they want to see you. They got a man in the back seat who really looks bad. So I came down. He was a Thai citizen. His face was part of the hanging. He got encountered by a bear. And bear or mountain lion, I don't recall which. And he said, we can't handle that here. And I said, go over to the Thai University. And I called up and said, this is what's coming. So they took care of him.
Wow.
So that's kind of the things I did just
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah. That's cool. And in the Thai Army hospital, did you treat people who were flown in from combat, or who were your main patients that you saw?
Bangkok was what's called an R&R center, rest and relaxation,
Mm-hmm.
which would handle troops from Vietnam. When you were in Vietnam as an Army personnel, you got, I think, 10 days off
Okay.
to do R&R, rest and relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be Bangkok, Australia, Philippines, some other places that they could go to.
Mm-hmm.
to see the Bangkok girls.
Mhm.
And you can imagine what
Yeah.
that entailed. And do a lot of drinking. So they got in accidents. They would rent a car. They would rent bicycles. Get injured. Army at sea.
Mhm. Okay, so more just like everyday accidents than combat.
GIs, crazy, on the wild,
Yeah.
in a big city. That was primarily who at sea. There were
Mhm.
several units, army units in Bangkok, in Thailand,
Mhm.
distributed outside of the city of Bangkok.
Mhm.
And at sea, there were people when they got injured and send them down.
Okay.
I also did some work in various army units in Thailand. They didn't have any doctors, they had physician assistants.
Mhm.
And every so often they would have a doctor come to take care of a number of the vets they had problems.
Mhm.
And to send a plane up from Vietnam, a propeller plane, to pick me up in Bangkok, and then we'd fly out to Kanchanaburi or, a bunch of other ones.
Mhm.
Oh wait, Grandpa, let me
Oh,
fix the microphone really quick.
I shouldn't cross my hands, should
Oh,
I?
you can.
No, you can.
We're just the microphone is kind of falling over.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
And it would fly me out, and it was a two-passenger plane, had two pilots and two seats for passengers, and it'd be all by myself.
Wow.
And they'd fly, I'd see the jungles from the top, and when we came to the army base, they'd have strips, and they'd come along, and instead of coming like this down, they'd come like this. And
Oh
if they-
wow.
I said, gee, why are you doing that? Well, we're flying Vietnam, that's how we have to fly there, so we don't get shot.
Oh
We're doing
yeah.
the same thing here.
Wow.
Wow.
And so then what would you do when you went to these
I'd
bases?
spend a week there, treating the various problems that the vets or the active military had.
Mhm. Wow.
Then they'd come and pick me up again, from a different group that came over from Vietnam, pick me up at the remote villages, take me back to Bangkok.
Wow.
Wow. What would you do for fun in Thailand besides, like, when you weren't working? What would you do for fun?
What would I do for fun?
Yeah.
Well, I had a little baby girl at that time.
Yeah.
Would go swimming. The Army had a variety of swimming facilities for the military personnel.
Mhm.
We would drive down to a place called Kanchanaburi, which is south of Bangkok, maybe a 2-hour, 3-hour drive. I bought a brand new car in Thailand.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
It had a Subaru, before Subarus were in the States.
Wow.
Of course, it was right-hand drive,
Mhm.
so we have left-hand drive here.
Mhm.
So you have to learn how to do that. It's really not that difficult, just
Yeah.
awkward. And we drive down to Bangkok. The Army had a facility there for its troops, a vacation facility.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we'd get a bungalow,
Mhm.
which was basically bedroom, maybe a little kitchen type thing, bathrooms. And Kate would call on it. Of course, she was that big.
Yeah.
Oh, that was done frequently. Bangkok was very hot.
Yeah, I bet.
Hunger was not uncommon.
Mhm.
We rented a house, which was about 2 blocks from the hospital. And I had a summer uniform at that time, because that's what we wore in the summer, which was khaki, short sleeves like I got here. And I could walk to the hospitals, maybe 2 blocks. I'd maybe leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. By the time I got there, my uniform was saturated with sweat.
Wow.
That's in the morning.
Wow.
It was cool in the morning. So I'd wear scrubs all day and then change back to go home.
Mhm.
we'd swim in the variety of Army bases in the pool, try to teach Kate how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
Went out to a lot of dining. We had a servant that helped us in the house,
Oh, really?
did a lot of the cleaning, did some activity with Kate. Right off the back of our house was a school, a Thai school, and we had ponds outside of our house. And on the other side of the pond was the school. And when Kate was outside, the school kids out, Fulong, Fulong, Fulong. White foreigner.
Yeah.
I was working.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did, was
Work.
do that. Go out to dinner a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Well, how about we'll kind of finish talking about your work, and then we can circle back and talk about like how you met Grandma and like more stuff in your personal life. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay. So,
Kate was born in the Army
Right.
hospital.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then after you guys lived in Bangkok, you moved to Michigan, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then, and you moved. What did you do for work once you moved to Michigan?
I decided to become an orthopedic surgeon, a real one.
Yeah.
And I got a residency there.
Okay.
The fellow I was in charge of the residency was a hand surgeon. I was interested in hand surgery
Mm-hmm.
a lot at that time. He developed a lot of the artificial joints,
Wow.
so I was interested in seeing if that all works.
Yeah.
Spent 3 years in Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
What I did there was read orthopedic books and work.
Yeah.
And then I was interested in living in the Pacific Northwest, and we had spent a year there already.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at various positions around the country. There was an opening there in, I think it's called Vancouver, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So Vancouver, Canada versus Vancouver, Washington,
Yeah.
just across from Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And I agreed to come and join them. I said, yes, I like it. And as we thought about things, Sandy's mother was very ill. My father had problems. And he said, we should probably go back to Wisconsin,
Yeah.
which we did. And the guys in Washington were upset, but that's all right.
Yeah.
What other question did you have?
Well, so then I guess so you moved back to Manitowoc,
Yes.
right? And then did you initially work in one of the hospitals, and then I know eventually you opened up your own practice, correct?
I joined a group of orthopedic surgeons as a full-time orthopedist,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually we had a falling out, and I quit
Mm-hmm.
and started my own practice. Did that for either 1 year or 3 years, and then started my own.
Mm-hmm.
Did that for maybe 15 years, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And the hospital was buying up practices, so you had a choice. You could either join the hospital or go someplace else, but the hospital was going to be controlling everything. So I signed up with the hospital. Did that for a couple of years. Then I said, it's not what I want. I started my own practice.
Okay.
Hired help, worked out details. Was fortunate to get a business manager who I don't know who she was working for, but she was a former nun.
Mm-hmm.
Now as a civilian. She was an accountant, so she was my main person, and I handled a bunch of other girls to help with the normal practice.
Yeah.
Got busy than I wanted. Hired an associate, Tom Finnegan. He was with me until he died. What else?
How long did you have that practice open?
5 to 10 years.
Okay.
And then we decided to move to Manitowoc to join an orthopedic surgeon that operated my leg when I was in high school.
Mhm.
His practice, which after a while didn't work out. So I said, I'm leaving this, I'm starting my own. So I got sort of jumped ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's when I hired the former nun
Okay.
as my business manager,
Mhm.
and eventually hired my associate, Tom Finnegan.
Yeah.
Then as time passed, I just said I had enough of this, I quit.
Uh-huh. And so then did you retire or you went back to the hospital?
Well, I was interested in what the VA had, so I looked at the VA hospital,
Mhm.
which was in Iron Mountain, Michigan. And they were just coincidentally looking for an orthopedic surgeon and say, hey, we need you. I said, I don't want to work full time.
Uh-huh.
Well, I kept begging us, I'll think about it. And I said, I'll give you a couple of weeks, a month.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know, I thought that's all I can afford. They came around and we agreed on I'd work 1 week a month. So I'd drive up on Sundays, work Monday through Friday, and drive back to Manitowoc.
Wow.
So I was semi-retired.
Mhm.
That moved on to after a while to being fully retired,
Mhm.
which is where I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been retired for? What year did you retire?
10 years ago maybe.
10 years
I
ago.
can't,
Probably.
Grandma can probably tell you the exact time.
Yeah. But I think you retired after some of us were born, right? Because I know when Levi was born,
Probably,
which was 17 years ago, I think you were still working.
okay, could be.
Yeah.
Grandma
Yeah.
would know that maybe better.
Yeah, we can ask her and we'll put it in the video.
Had I had that as an assignment, I would have worked it out. Sorry, I didn't get that.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I guess I just have one more question about orthopedics, and then we can move on to your family stuff. Unless you
Yeah.
have any other questions.
Orthopedics and then
Okay.
family stuff.
Yeah. So I guess all of us kind of want to know what was like the craziest case you ever worked on, or one that the whatever orthopedics case kind of sticks with you the most.
Craziest case. I guess the craziest were the one I told you about in the army with the
Mhm.
soldier with his head off and his
Yeah.
girlfriend or wife sitting there.
Huh.
The other one might be being in the emergency room and seeing the planes being unloaded with vets, either in litters or in wheelchairs.
Yeah. So mostly army stuff.
What kind of a case would you be interested in?
I
Any.
guess just one that
I can
maybe.
tell you about the first soccer player I met.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in the emergency room working, and the nurses came up and said, we got a soccer player that's injured. What the hell's soccer? We don't have soccer here.
Yeah.
Well, it's a new thing that's coming to Michigan.
Yeah. Wow.
So I go see a guy, and he had well, he didn't have a splint on, but he had a very obvious fractured tibia of that, and I got kicked.
Mhm.
Why would you get kicked? Well, that's what we do, we kick. Okay. I don't know anything about soccer.
Yeah.
I remember that very well.
Yeah.
So I was always concerned to see a soccer player. You have shins.
Yeah. So,
Oh. I remember having to be at a football game as the doctor, and the coach was a little difficult to deal with.
mhm.
And I was there with the team, they were playing. This one kid got injured, I forget what the injury was. And said, "Hey doc, what do you think?" I said, "Take him out." So for 10 minutes, and the coach said, "Hey, send him back in." I said, "No, he stays here." I said, "Furthermore, send him to the emergency room right now." Oh.
Wow.
Said, "I'm in charge. Ask me what to do, that's what you do."
Yeah.
That always stuck with me. I want to get people back in the game
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And don't get the doctor there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. What about, I know my mom has said you've had like a lot of, or not a lot, but cases with like frostbite or other things where you've had to amputate
Oh yeah.
people's limbs or fingers.
Didn't have a lot of that, and sometimes, if it's too far gone, then you have to do an amputation. Amputations are sort of common in orthopedics,
Yeah.
and you start with fingers and work on up. You try to preserve as much tissue as you can.
Mhm.
I'd like to not have people amputated because that's
Yeah.
a big issue. In the Army, I saw a lot of amputees. Double amputees, sometimes leg and an arm,
Wow.
sometimes legs and one arm. They are walking and get over a mine,
Mhm.
explodes. They get
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I was just gonna say something.
I haven't really set aside over my career the things that are the worst I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite type of case to operate on?
I like hand.
Okay.
Hands.
Yeah, and did you have a specialty once you were in Manitowoc, or since it's a small town, you just did everything?
I did everything, general orthopedic.
Okay.
If I had an orthopedic case that had some special needs and we weren't set up for that, I'd send to someone else or to the university.
Awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Do you have anything else to add?
I don't have any more questions about
Orthopedics.
orthopedics.
Do you have any other things about orthopedics you want to say, or
or your career?
Ask me again.
do you have any more like orthopedic or career stories or anything you want to tell, or are you ready for the next topic?
Well, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, it's not uncommon to get called out at 2 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
with some bad car accident or
Mhm.
drugs or things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a disadvantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So were you
definitely.
always on call?
When I had my own practice, yes.
Wow.
Oh wow. And were
That's why I got my partner.
okay,
So
so
then we split call.
that makes sense. So then then you could take vacation and stuff like that. Nice. Wow.
All right. Well, I want to know about how you met Grandma.
I got her.
How you met her. The whole story and how you met Grandma.
Oh. I was a med student, and my roommate Don Beekler was interested in radiology, and he had some training already, but was part of the radiology group, and they were having a picnic. And he said, "We got a picnic." It was summer. And she joined me, we went to the picnic.
Mhm.
So we went to the picnic and they were playing ball over there in the field, and we were having refreshments here. And he said, "See the baseball player over there?" I said, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty good." That was Sandy.
Oh wow.
And she was like, "Bad?" I said, "Yeah, it looks real good." And so she swung and hit the ball and ran. I went over and said something like, "Yeah, it was a very good hit" or something.
Mhm.
And spent some time with her that evening, talking. And she was there with a bunch of girlfriends. I didn't have a ride home and I had a car. So I said, "I can drive you home." So as I recall, they all came in the car. And that's where Sandy's apartment was, her roommates.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, why don't you come on up?" So I came up and probably had a couple sodas, quote unquote. They went to bed, Sandy stayed up, chatted a little bit. I went home,
Mhm.
ended up calling her up sometime later, and I'll go to a movie or at the dinner, I don't recall it. And got married about 2 weeks later, about 2 years later.
Yeah. And did you think she was the one when you met her?
I wasn't thinking of marriage,
Okay.
I was thinking of medicine.
Yeah.
No, she's very attractive,
Yeah.
very nice,
Yeah.
Wisconsin girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your guys' first date?
What's my birthday?
No, what was your guys' first date?
My dad's birthday?
No,
Your-
what was you and Grandma's first date? Like the first
Oh,
time you guys
first
hung
date.
out.
Yes. I think you said it's
I was learning how to sail
okay.
at that time. University of Wisconsin has what's called the Hofer's Club.
Mhm.
Do you know about Hofer's Club?
No, what's that?
It's like an outdoors club.
And
Oh.
they have
Yeah.
various different subdivisions.
Exactly.
Skiing, hiking, sailing,
Mhm.
many things. And I was interested in sailing. The University of Wisconsin campus is right on Lake Mendota. We've been there, you've seen it.
Yeah.
In the summer, they have maybe 20, 30 sailboats they put out, all the same kind, one sail. And you can learn how to sail, and I wanted to learn and did, and maybe had her go sailing with me.
Cute.
I don't recall, but that'd be
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Or maybe I took her out to dinner,
Yeah. That's
I
cool.
don't remember.
Yeah.
And then once you guys were dating, when did you decide that you wanted to propose to her? Or like, anything about your proposal? Do you remember buying the ring, how you proposed,
I'm trying to
anything?
figure out, because we were going to get married at the time I graduated,
Mhm.
and maybe it was after going sailing, or maybe it was sailing.
Mhm.
I don't recall exact details.
Yeah. So it's more like you knew that you guys wanted to be married by the time or around when you graduated. And if you don't remember,
Yeah,
okay.
because actually, what happened, I graduated in probably early June from med school.
Mhm.
Then we got married.
Oh yeah, because your anniversary's June 17th or something like
Could be,
that. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I graduated maybe the 7th.
Yeah.
And we drove to Washington in an old Buick I bought for maybe $200.
Yeah.
I had to put in the seatbelts myself. I
Wow.
had to drill through the floor, have someone underneath passing it up.
Mhm.
Seatbelts just came off, and that was a big issue. And I was certain you needed seatbelts.
Yeah.
Put them in myself. So at Sandy's family's residence was doing that.
Wow.
I think her dad maybe helped me, or maybe one of her brothers.
Yeah.
So I put in their seatbelts. We drove from Milwaukee to Tacoma, Washington,
Wow.
where the Army base was.
Yeah.
once we get out there, car worked fine and forward, but we couldn't back it up.
Oh,
No reverse.
wow, yeah. So that's when you got your new Volkswagen.
Yes.
And then when you and
Our
Grandma...
place, we had a 3-room apartment.
Oh, wow.
They had like buildings, a long building
Mhm.
with apartment. And I think we had a 3-bedroom. We had an upstairs. And all the interns had apartments.
Mhm.
And it was we'd walk maybe a block or two from our apartment to the hospital.
Mhm. Wow. That's cool.
Grandma went to college there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your guys' wedding like?
Nice sunny day. Oh,
Is it big or small in terms of the number of people?
could I ask Sandy? Yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like a lot of people to me.
Yeah.
Oh, the church wedding. And then a reception afterwards. And then a big dinner.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
dancing after that,
Did you have polka music?
probably. I learned how to polka in New York.
Oh, really?
When I was a med student, 3 of us were going to get a job for the summer.
Mhm.
Someone said before I go to New York, go to the Catskills. They have a lot of rich Jewish people there that come up and they spend money and easy to get a job.
Yeah.
How do you get a job? Well, just say you're here to work.
Mhm.
Oh, tell them you worked up here last year. I said, well, that's New York. We tell them it didn't work.
Yeah.
So you do it. So we, two med school classmates and myself drove out from Madison to New York. And we were given names from this other guy. What you do is you go up to one of the big places and you tell them you work for so-and-so, the maitre d', Jose or whoever he is.
Mhm.
Even though you didn't, you tell them that's what you do.
Yeah.
And they'll hire you.
Oh,
And
wow.
they did. So of course I had to learn what to do. And
Yeah.
I remember the first job I had, they had me parking cars. So I'm really okay. And so the kid I was working there, you know how to drive in, Chad? I'll show you how to do it. He's watching this guy's gonna give me his keys. So he gets in the car, steps on the gas, flies back. It's a brick.
Oh,
geez.
no.
He said, well, that's not the way it's supposed to go.
Mhm.
So I parked cars for a while and he had a job at a restaurant. Real small, not a restaurant, a resort.
Uh-huh.
I was working in the kitchen there, in the dining room. We get people to take care of for the whole week. 3 meals a day.
Oh, wow.
And when it came time to leave, we weren't tipped at all during the whole time.
Mhm.
When the other kid says, hey, I'm gonna go get tips. So how do you do that? We would watch them come with us. So we'd walk down before they would leave. We know they'd be leaving at a certain time. All the people,
Mhm.
the resort week was over Saturday. I think it was Saturday, but a given day. And we walk out and get on the driveway going out where it was only one car.
Mhm.
And we wait until the cars came in, we'd walk out. It's okay, line up. The car would stop and the guy would get moments. I've been trying to find you guys. Very anxious, very.
Yeah.
You know you should have done something.
Yeah.
But I can still see that going on.
That's funny.
What was like your favorite thing you did in New York? What was your craziest thing you did when you were in New York? Did you like to go to bars? Did you just like to hang out? What did you like to do?
I had a friend there, spent time with her.
Ooh.
She lived in New York City. She was a Wisconsin student.
What was her name?
Joni.
Joni?
Cool. And what would you guys do?
Go to dinner.
Nice. So was she like one of your ex-girlfriends before you met Grandma?
The ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, or a girlfriend.
Yes. She was a student in Madison, so that's how I knew her.
Cool.
How long did you date her for?
Maybe a year.
Wow.
I don't know. Didn't keep track.
Yeah, and then did you date anyone else besides her and Grandma?
I think Sandy appeared in the scene at that time.
Okay, and then the rest was history. Did you have any girlfriends in high school or during undergrad?
Not that I'd classify as girlfriends
Okay.
and dates.
Okay.
We used to drive to Two Rivers. You know where Two Rivers is?
Yes, of course.
And there'd be a lot of girls walking around, and you'd stop, and you want to ride? Sure. Well, I'd hop in. So we'd just be driving around.
Nice.
That's nice.
Go down to the lake and watch submarines in the lake, the underwater submarines.
Mhm. That's cool. Like, and you would do this like during the summer when you lived in Manitowoc?
Yes. Of course, you don't see the submarines at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Oh wow, it's windy.
What's your favorite thing about Grandma?
Everything about her, she's smart, she's pretty.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm great.
Yeah, that's always a plus.
Yeah. What's like your favorite thing you've done with Grandma? Or what's your best memory you have with Grandma or Sandy?
Getting married,
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing a lot of polka dancing. Oh, that's where I learned how to polka dance in New York.
Mhm.
Women from the city, New York City, would come up to the resort I was working at for a week or a month or whatever,
Mhm.
and they'd have like a dance hall in part of the resort, and they wanted the boys that were working there, young men, to be available to dance with the ladies if they wanted.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I learned the dance because they wanted to do a polka dance.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
teach me, so or have you teach me.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
And then when you met Grandma, did she know how to polka
I think
dance?
so.
Okay. So it was like a common skill.
Everybody from Wisconsin, I think, knows how to polka dance.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you?
Like, kind of.
Okay, you need more practice.
Yeah, I do need more practice.
Okay.
But I've done it before, but I'm not an expert. Let's see.
It's a fun dance.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun. What about now? How about you talk about like your kids, like what made you want to have kids, and then you already kind of talked about Kate, my mom, a little, but maybe talk about when you guys had Brian and Liz.
Brian was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
There's something with Brian, I don't know if he had a burn or I don't recall exact details.
When he was little.
Yeah, I think he was maybe must have been 2 years by the time we left
Mm-hmm.
Grand Rapids. Because Liz was born a short time after we got to Manitowoc.
Yeah.
I was a resident, it's not much time you have as a resident besides eating and sleeping and being at the hospital.
Yeah.
We house with seats on the back for kids, and we'd go bicycling.
Oh, that's cool. And that was in Michigan or in Manitowoc?
Manitowoc for certain, and I suspect some in Michigan. I don't recall the details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you had told me that ahead of time, I would have done some research.
And then besides biking, once all 3 kids were born, did you have a favorite activity that you guys would do as a family? Or like any, I know you guys went on like quite a few trips.
We had a sailboat in Manitowoc, and actually 2 sailboats in Manitowoc.
Mm-hmm.
And summertime sailing, we'd go skiing in the winter. Minimal fishing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Minimal hunting, took Brian hunting.
Uh-huh.
He may not remember. I remember one night, my brother Lloyd is a coon hunter, and he came down with his dogs at one time, and I said, let's go coon hunting, okay? And I think Brian was 5, 6, something like that. He'd never been coon hunting, it's done at night.
Mm-hmm.
We went out and he released his dog, and 20 minutes the dog is barking. Ooh, it's got a coon up the tree.
Oh, wow.
And so you run over to see the dog. Everybody's using flashlights.
Mm-hmm.
And look up in the tree and you see 2 like light bulbs, green light bulbs are colored.
Oh,
Those
wow.
are the eyes of the coon looking down.
Wow.
It's also your target because you shoot between the 2 eyes.
Yeah.
So it's a headshot so you don't, damage the pelt.
Mm-hmm.
And so we shot down the coon. Lloyd took the hide, which is what he sells. So he skinned the coon.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian remembers talking about the baby. They took the baby's pants off. So he must have been younger than 5.
Yeah.
But he'd, cut and open up the skin on the legs and then tie ropes on what was left to tie it to the tree upside down like this. Then skin the rest of the body
Oh, wow.
and pull the hide off. He said they pull the pajamas off.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's cute.
Yeah. What's like something you would do with Kate or Liz? Like, any special memories with either of them?
Kate liked to sail
Yeah.
in Manitowoc, and she became very skilled at that. Liz was born in Manitowoc. We used to do summer vacations,
Mm-hmm.
rent a place for a week or so,
Yeah.
usually with a lake. Kids could go fishing. It was always fun to catch fish.
Yeah. I know yesterday they were talking about you had a conference, actually here in Park City, and I think
A bonsai tree conference?
What conference?
a bonsai tree conference or something.
Yeah.
Bondike?
Bonsai tree.
Bonsai.
Yeah, and I think my mom and Brian were like in college by then, but I know Aunt Liz came with you guys and you went and toured schools in Arizona, and then you toured Boulder. Do you remember that trip at all?
Well, for her colleges, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you came here for the conference and did a bunch of college tours.
I think she decided she was going to Boulder after
Yes.
she had seen it.
Yeah.
I remember going to Arizona driving
Mm-hmm.
up and down.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool that it was like in this area.
Yeah. What was your favorite family vacation you guys went on?
Favorite family vacation? Just the fact of being on vacation was the thing. We oftentimes would rent a place, summertime, sort of a setting like this.
Yeah.
We have boats, go fishing. They all didn't have sailboats.
Mm-hmm. What about your favorite place you've ever been? It doesn't have to be on a family vacation, but just favorite place you've ever been in the world.
So you have to go back and forth.
Whatever.
Well, I got to do some traveling on army time to vacation spots.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma didn't get to go with me.
Oh, really?
My neighbor next door, when we were in Bangkok, he had a house next door. He was called the Sergeant Major, high-ranking sergeant of the hospital. And he really was happy with his neighbor, which was me. And he always addressed me by my rank, or my doctor's name. I started as a captain. After a while I became, my last year in the Army I was a major, so I was up in grade.
Wow.
So he'd either call me Captain Bast or Major Bast.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely Dr. Bast, hardly ever Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on a trip to Australia with him.
Oh, cool.
What do you guys do in Australia?
Party. He was the top-ranking sergeant of the hospital. And sergeants do a lot of trading. How are you going to get this? Well, I know Sergeant Jones over there. I'll call him Sergeant Jones. He'll work it out. Whereas if you go through with the officers, the lower-ranking officers, second lieutenant, they don't quite have the expertise. They don't know
Yeah.
how things work in the Army. So he would call, and one sergeant called him for some reason. Some Australian planes were coming to land in Bangkok, and they wanted to pick up something, and their job was taking Australian land vehicles, trucks and stuff that were in Vietnam, back to Australia. So they came with huge planes filled with trucks to Bangkok, and my sergeant major worked out that we'd be going back with them. I don't recall the details other than he said, Major Bass, you want to go to Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Or what? Just to go, I'm going.
Yeah.
He told me, I said, sure. So we flew down there. There wasn't room for us to sit in the plane. So we sat in the cabins of the trucks.
Oh, really?
So I sat behind a wheel of a big truck. It's an army truck that the Australians were taking back home.
Wow.
And he sat someplace else. Otherwise, we would go up to the front deck where they're flying the plane, and we could sort of hang around there a little bit, off limits. But
Yeah.
and we spent the night in Malaysia, just a little bit north of Singapore, at what was a British Army base, or still was an Army base, a British Army call. But they said the enlisted sergeants and the officers, captains or majors, don't room together. And so the sergeants will go to this place, and I, as the officer, will go to this one. So it's really the sweetest thing you got is that was a very nice thing.
Oh, wow.
My quarters are about as big as this plus out there,
Oh, wow.
a bed, a desk, and they come in the morning, they take your uniform, they press it, they take your shoes, they shine them, and they bring them back allegedly before you wake up.
Wow,
Wow.
that's nice.
Well, I could see the guy coming in, it was still dark out. I could just sort of see his eyes a little bit in reflection.
Mhm.
He took all my stuff, and he's gone, and then when it's time to get up, I got pajamas on, that's all. They eventually came back, and it was something unusual. He took something or left something, I don't recall, but it wasn't an issue that turned out being okay.
That's good.
And then from there, we flew to northern Australia, over Singapore,
Mhm.
looked down and see all these big spires from high-rise buildings.
Oh wow.
Flew all the way to northern Australia and spent the night there. And we went into the bar with the Australians at their bar. And military flying crew is not supposed to drink for 24 hours.
Oh.
And I watched the pilots did. They had soda and we had beer.
Uh-huh.
That was sort of interesting.
Yeah.
And they flew us all the rest of the way to, what's the big city out? Is that Sydney?
Yeah.
Sydney, yeah.
Sydney. Went to Sydney. Spent a couple down there days. Drove around the countryside looking at the homes. Remember they were red brick, a lot of them were very pretty.
Cool.
Went to see a show, military type show. I don't recall the name, it was sort of an American show. American flags were distributed, they were on stage a lot.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh. And then my Sergeant Cather said he's not going back to Bangkok, he's got orders to go to Vietnam to check something out.
Wow.
Do you want to come to Vietnam with me? I said, I don't know. I don't know if I did or not. I've been through Vietnam before. I had to take some patients back to the States.
Mhm.
And I had to fly back and coming back, stopped in Philippines, stayed with some Air Force guys who were on their way to Vietnam.
Mhm.
And they had been through training in the Philippines, escape and evasion.
Oh
I said,
wow.
what's that? I said, well, they give us these chits and they send us out into the jungle and said, hide, do whatever you can, escape and evasion. Because we're sending out these Philippine, not soldiers, but the lower class, they're smaller than the typical Philippine, to find you. And their job is to find you because ordinarily they would shoot you. But they're going to find you and you give them the dollars or whatever it was, and that's their prize. They let you come back.
Oh wow.
And you'll have 6 hours time before we release them.
Wow.
Find out how to hide. And you could climb up into a bamboo tree or find some place. If they were going to find you, and they did.
Wow.
It's just interesting how they, different countries do things.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
The Australians, I think, were in Vietnam too.
Mhm.
So that's how I spent some time in the Army.
That's cool.
That's cool. What other questions do you have, Shane?
I guess we have a few more questions back to kind of when you were a kid. Do you want me to ask you those, or do you want a quick break for like water?
Okay.
Okay. I guess what.
Oh wait,
were-
before you start, let me Make sure this is still recording. Okay, perfect.
Okay, did I turn it off?
Oh no,
No.
just double checking, and then I'm gonna re-angle the mic. Just 'cause it might just slowly over time falls over.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
Okay, what are one or two of your favorite childhood memories?
Do you have another question?
Yeah. What classes did you take in high school, or what were some of your favorite classes in high school, if you remember?
Well, I took a lot of sciences, chemistry, physics, biology. Took math. I was not stellar in math, but I got through.
Uh-huh.
Did not like English. Did not like English lit at all.
Yeah.
Took bookkeeping because my dad said, you know, you should become an accountant. That's the best job on earth. A desk this big and
Yeah.
a chair and you're ready to go in business. Well, they didn't have accounting, they had bookkeeping.
Yeah.
But that was horrible. And use pencil and put little things in little tiny squares.
Ooh,
Add up and
yeah.
worst class.
Not for you.
Yeah.
What about, do you remember if you had any favorite songs? Like, it could be in high school, when you were an adult now.
Did not have a record player. Never bought a record. Favorite songs? Yeah, there were a couple, but I don't remember it
That's okay.
at the moment.
What
Yeah.
type of music did you like polka music?
I like polka music, yeah. We had teenage bars at that time.
Oh, really?
Really?
You could drink at 18 beer,
Wow.
but not alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And one was Timber Lodge, which is in Manitowoc, it's now an Elks Club.
Yeah.
And we'd go there, sneak in before we were 18. Supposed to have an ID.
Uh-huh.
And so we'd get beer, I think it was non-alcoholic beer even.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Maybe not, I don't remember. But that was a big deal.
Yeah. And did they play music there, or?
Yeah, it was filled with high school kids,
Mm-hmm.
usually shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, wow. It's like almost like a party. That's cool.
Most of the kids there underage.
Mm-hmm. And did you have like a best friend or like a few good friends in high school?
Yeah, they were former Boy Scouts too.
Okay.
One was Francis. He lived 2 blocks away. He had a couple older brothers with big Harley motorcycles.
Oh, cool.
And when he got to be old enough, he had a Harley motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And I would frequently ride to Milwaukee with him on the back of his Harley.
Wow.
And for a very hot day, you'd think that'd be great. Well, it was cold, maybe driving at 60, 70 miles an hour,
Yeah.
hanging on and just the wind blowing. It
Mm-hmm.
was very cold back then. He also did a merit badge with me. To be an Eagle Scout, you have to get 21 merit badges.
Wow.
A lot of things are Scout related.
Mm-hmm.
Camping, outdoor activity, cooking, outdoor cooking. And one was cycling, that you can select, and we picked
Mhm.
cycling.
Oh, cool.
I did and asked him, he was not a scout. He would enjoy scouts. But we had to get 6 25-mile bike hikes in
Oh, wow.
and one 50-mile bike hike to be eligible to get the badge.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
He's in trouble. James threw a ping pong ball at the the guy sleeping.
Oh no.
And he jumped up. That was his father.
Yeah. That's funny.
I forgot what I was saying.
You're talking about cycling with Francis.
So we'd go down to Milwaukee and turn around and come back.
That's cool.
What else did I do? I did a lot of hunting, lesser amount of fishing.
Yeah. Well, I know you mentioned you worked picking beans.
Oh yeah,
Did you have any, was that your only job until college, or did you have any other jobs?
that was one of the first jobs that helped pay for college.
Oh, cool.
I never bought a record, never had a record player. All the money I made went into the bank.
Uh-huh.
So after picking beans, maybe even while I was still picking beans, I did a Sunday Milwaukee Journal route,
Oh, cool.
and the journal's about that thick, and a kid that size can't carry more than about 6 of them. So I had a coaster wagon. My dad made a handle that went from my bicycle seat around the rear tire,
Oh,
hooking into the coaster wagon.
that's cool.
Coaster wagon I could pilot that high with 2 stacks and deliver
Yeah,
my Milwaukee journals.
that's cool.
I quit there because one customer they'd put their money between the 2 doors, and it was never there. The next time,
Oh,
yes, I'm not doing it anymore.
yeah.
And I got criticized at the paper office. And, well, he's not paying. I said, well, so
Yeah.
passed, quit there. What other jobs did I have? I got a job at Swords Dairy, which is now called the Big Cow,
Oh, yeah.
on 10th Street, where you get nice ice cream.
Is that by the beach, kind of?
Close to a
Yeah.
couple blocks away.
Yeah, I think we've been there before.
And
Yeah.
my dad used to fix radiators and the door open, and the 2 owners of that company, the Sorge brothers, were big drinkers.
Oh,
And across the street were a couple taverns. They come down every day to go to the tavern. But my dad's door was open, so I'd come and see what he's doing. And they liked that. They were in every day, just what they call shooting the shit.
yeah.
Gossiping, I suppose.
Yeah.
And my dad said, yeah, my son's getting old enough to do something besides peddle papers. You got a place for him? Yeah, well, I have a job.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
My dad said they're gonna start you at the dairy. I remember doing it. I said, I don't know. So it doesn't matter, you got a job. You do
Yeah.
whatever they give you. Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
So he drives me up there, meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning with the boss. He lets me off, I get out of the car, walk around. He rolls down his window and says, he said, you're applying for a job, you make it look like you really want the job, and you don't walk slow like that, you beat your ass.
Yeah.
So I want you going up to the front desk now, front door, and walking fast.
Yeah.
And I remember that, so I was really walking fast. I turned around and goes,
That's
and
cool.
got the job.
Yeah.
And I started off with working in the ice cream department. And the ice cream comes out of a machine through a hole about that big, and you fill up the container, and then you put it, someone over there closes it, and someone puts it in the freezer.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while, and they said, they need you in the dairy department. Well, milk at that time came in glass bottles. Do you ever remember seeing that? And my job was to take the milk after it was filled, put it in cases, and then go up about 6 feet high and 3 cases deep, and do another one. And the guys in the back in the other room didn't see it was 90-degree turn, would take the cases, which came in. People had milk in glasses at home, and you'd take it and you'd put it outside, and the dairyman would come with fresh beer or fresh milk and take the old stuff, which went back to the guy in the back room, and his job was to make sure the bottles were clean. People used to put in cigarettes,
Oh wow.
mice, and dump them out. And my job was to, after he cleaned the bottles, he went through a washer, and then milk went in it, and then over here they came, and my job was to take the milk as it came off and fill each case.
Oh, okay.
There were 12 bottles in the case. I got really boring after a while.
Yeah, I bet.
So I found I got pretty good. I could take them. I could be even further away. It'd have to be right here. I could sort of throw them.
Oh wow.
And occasionally I'd miss him. One would break the other. And it'd shut down the whole line.
Oh yeah.
And the guy from the back remember coming around saying, "Ah, that goddamn kid's playing games again." I did that. Then I needed someone to drive truck. And I was 16. I just did my license. My dad was probably bragging to the Sorge brothers what a good driver I was. I don't know that, but it's,
Yeah, what you assume.
so I got to drive truck.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And these were trucks. I drove truck to Port Washington, which is maybe 60 miles south of Manitowoc. I got to Green Bay, which is maybe 30. I had to go about 40 miles north. I got to Sturgeon Bay, which is a little bit further, and over near Menasha. And the first ones I took, it was a big truck. The back of it was about this long, maybe half the width, maybe as high as the tops of these shades.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't driven trucks like that, and I broke cars.
Yeah.
So I was impressed that he said, "Here's you're gonna be driving this." It had a different shifting system, had multiple gears, and I did that to all those places. I was taking a load down to Port Washington once, and I saw the back of the truck go down, boom, and then the truck starts going over to the left side. We had no double lane highways at that time, and I was trying to keep it from going in the ditch, which I did. So I had to call home to bring another truck down. Of course,
Wow.
we didn't have these, so I
Yeah.
had to walk to a farm, and all the farms would be greeted by dogs.
Oh.
Very mean
Yeah.
dogs. And at any rate, I got to talk to the farmer, told him, he said, "Well, I got a phone." So he called, they sent down a truck from the dairy to take all the stuff in my truck, put it in the empty truck, and I'll go back to Port Washington.
Oh wow.
It was a real long day, but
Yeah.
good time.
That's good.
The bulk trucks, you might see the trucks all like this. They carry milk that's not in the container, or ice cream mix. I had to drive that truck to Menasha, which is maybe 50 miles away.
Wow.
And I didn't realize it had a very complicated shifting system. But I didn't realize that when you have liquid in the back, you come to a stop sign, you hit the stop, the fluid comes forward, and then it goes back. And the front of the truck goes up like this.
Oh
Then it comes
wow.
back, and if you're not on the brake, it goes forward.
Oh wow.
So I learned how to operate that in a hurry.
That's scary.
I thought I was a big shot driving truck. There was a lot of truck drivers, and they were all smoking, everyone. So I could buy a package of cigarettes in the machine for 25 cents a package.
Oh wow.
Now they're a little more expensive, I know.
Yeah.
After a while, I knew how to do all the trucking and everything, and I got boring driving. Hitchhiking was very common. Maybe people wanted to hitch. On the glove box of the truck was a big sign, "Do not pick up hitchhikers." So I would slow it down, but I couldn't do it. Pick up, and then that even got boring, so what I'd do is I'd stay on my head, and I'd start downshifting, going from like third gear to second gear to first gear, and he could hear me downshifting, but I wouldn't stop and go beyond him distance, and you could tell I was waiting because I could see him in the mirror, and they'd run, they'd put in gear and take off. I could see it didn't choke out on me.
That's funny.
Oh, I shouldn't do that.
You could probably put on the phone though, and you'll still
I can
reach.
what?
Put on the floor.
Yeah, if you want to just put it on the floor. Wait, let me make sure it's still recording. Oh yeah, it is. Just do this and adjust this really quick. Okay.
And so then you drove the trucks, and did you have another job after that, or you did that
I
until
worked in the dairy.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing, when I got better at taking the dirty dishes off, they made me take the bottles of milk and put them in 12 to a case.
Mhm.
And that got really sort of tiring and boring.
Yeah.
And so I would, instead of doing like this, I found I could do it over there. And occasionally I'd break a bottle.
Yeah.
So I shut down the machine. The guy from the back comes running out. "Oh, that goddamn kid's playing games again." "Oh, a mistake."
Yeah. And so then you drove the trucks, and then did you have another job after driving the trucks, or did you work?
Depending where they needed help, I was doing everything.
Okay, so you did everything, and then
I was always in the ice cream section,
Mhm.
filling up those. And then you take them into the freezer, which is like 20 below.
Oh yeah.
Really heavy duty winter clothes in there. And the ice cream trucks needed ice cream. And they drive up, and I'd put it from the ice cream locker through a little chute to the guy who was loading his truck.
Oh wow. Oh, so you really did everything there.
Yeah.
And cut a lot of grass.
For the dairy farm or independent?
Now, as part of that, I
Oh.
was hired initially. I think that, well, I don't know which came first. I spent a lot of time in the garage helping the mechanics fix things. Most of which was my job, was cleaning the trucks.
Mhm.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
You're cutting the
I was
grass.
cutting grass.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It was even bigger than they have an extension on now.
Oh wow.
But I had lawnmowers, some were riding, some were walk behind.
Mhm. Wow. So you did a lot there. And then.
I approached the boss. I said, "You know, I've been doing this shit here for a long time. How about putting me up in the office?" He said, "Get back out."
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go give Grandma her phone quickly.
She wants her phone?
Well, it was going off, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna give it.
Do you need any water or anything, Grandpa, while Shane's getting up?
Okay, right now, thank you.
All right.
What are you going to do with all this information?
Tim's sending me some old photos of you that he has.
Say again?
So Tim has some old photos of you.
Who has?
Tim.
Tim.
He scanned all of your photos from your photo album, so I'm gonna make this like a TV show kind of on the internet. It could be called The Barry Show, or if you have any name ideas that you want for your TV show, I'll edit it. They'll be so far we're at around a little less than 2 hours, but however long we take, I'll probably make the episodes 20 minutes each, and each episode will be focused on a different thing you talk about. One will be about Thailand, one will be about your jobs, one will be about your childhood.
Okay.
And then I'll include photos, and I'll find archive footage of Manitowoc and stuff. I'll put some music in the background. I'll just
Polka music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some polka music, and it'll be a 5 or 6 episode series.
Is this for work or for
Just for fun.
fun? Okay.
Yeah.
Will I get to see it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Of
yeah.
course.
Thank you.
And I could put them, I mean, I'll send them to you guys. You can watch it on YouTube. We can make CDs if you guys still, I don't know. But we'll make it so you could see
Yeah.
it. And yeah, you could, if you have any names you want for the show, like the name of your show, you could make it that.
Caitlin works.
Caitlin works.
Okay, wait. You're going to look at what's left. I don't think we should do all of them.
Yeah.
Like, don't do the ones that are like the one day. I think that will be too complicated.
Yeah. We have like a few more questions, but do you have any other stories or any parts of your life you want to talk about before we go on to the last questions? We just have a few random questions about random things. And if not, we could just move on to the questions. But if,
Do you know anything about Eagle Scouts?
You talked about it for like a minute, but if
do you want to tell us more about it?
Yeah, tell us more about it.
You have to get 25 merit badges,
Mm-hmm.
different things, cooking, camping,
Told us about cycling.
cycling. I think I started with that. It was 6 25-mile hikes on
Wow.
one day, five 25-mile hikes in one day, and one 50-mile hike,
Wow.
which
Wow.
was long.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing? What was your favorite merit badge you had to get?
Well, the most difficult thing was the cycling.
Yeah.
Just because of 50 miles on a bike. These are old-fashioned Schwinn bikes, fat tire,
Yeah.
no gears, hard pedaling.
Yeah.
Oh, what we did, we got chased by a lot of dogs.
Oh, I bet.
And the dogs can see you coming, no, you don't belong there.
Mm-hmm.
They start barking, and then they'll run out, so you pedal like hell. And of course they catch you, they grab the tire, and that stops the bike. But they hang on,
Yeah.
they hang on, and of course they get pulled up a little bit, but they stop, then you get off. And you learn in a hurry, and then you get off, and there's the dog, you get your bike like this. You got the wheels behind you, do that and try to damage the dog by hitting him in the snout as he comes charging.
Oh no. Yeah.
Either I got bitten or my partner got bitten, I don't recall.
Oh wow.
Thought you hanging on,
Oh.
you try to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But I fixed that, I made gauntlets that go all the way around. Guess how?
Oh.
I used a knife.
Wow.
I would take birch bark from a birch tree,
Oh.
girdle it, kills the tree, but that wasn't my concern.
Yeah.
So I go all the way around, about that distance,
Uh-huh.
and you take it off, and it tends to automatically want to do that.
Oh yeah.
And you wait a number of weeks, and it gets sort of firm, but you can open it up, you can open it and put it on, so it's like a guard.
Oh, wow.
And since we did that, we had no more dog attacks, so
Oh, that was smart.
that was just a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a very smart
Yeah.
solution. Is there anything else about the Eagle Scouts that you want to talk about, or?
Canoeing merit badge, rowing merit badge, all kinds of camping merit badges, life-saving merit badge.
Wow.
What you do is try to pick someone up off the bottom of the lake.
Wow.
And the guy that helped us with that was the waterfront director at Silver Lake, Pigeon Lake at the Boy Scout camp. He was a tall guy, about 6 feet,
Wow.
and he would swim out and say, "Okay, I'm going down to the bottom. You come pick me up." He'd exhale, so he'd stay on the bottom, and I'd swim down, and I'd get down. And when I got down, I was almost out of air. I'd have to go back up without even getting him.
Oh yeah.
And I'd go back down and get him. He had a day-old beard. So I'd grab him like this and get him up and up, so I could have him. In essence, if he were me, I'd be behind.
Oh okay.
And then come in and you get your elbow here, you come underneath and hold him like this. That's how you pull him.
Oh wow.
So if he's trying to get you, which someone drowning will do, you're not going to be a victim also.
Mhm.
So you get behind, and then you got to swim up and up to the ceiling. Or
Oh
to
wow. Yeah, to the top of the lake.
the, keep them up like this.
Yeah.
Swim them into shore by pulling them.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Canoe merit badges, cooking merit badge, camping merit badge.
Wow. That's a lot.
Some politically related. Maybe something like, you might get in a civics class. I don't recall the exact name.
Mm.
Civics was one.
Mhm. That's cool.
That's cool.
What was like?
As an Eagle Scout, you need 21 of those.
Wow.
And the people that authorize or give your individuals, private individuals, someone might be a cook for a cooking merit badge. Someone for life-saving would be maybe an instructor who
Yeah,
can do things.
that's cool.
So you gotta call them up yourself and set. So part of it was making the arrangements as a kid, getting a little more mature.
Yeah. What would you say is the merit badge you have used the most in your life that you learned in Eagle Scouts?
Are you gonna have me try to memorize all the
Or just one skill. It doesn't have to be a merit badge.
skills? It was the first aid merit badge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah, I guess
You're-
might,
that's
that's what I'm doing.
You're a
pretty
doctor.
applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That might be the closest to what I'm physically doing.
Yeah, probably. That's cool. And was that part of how you kind of realized you were interested in being in the medical field?
I kind of, but I never thought about it as such.
Okay, yeah.
But when I finished high school, I was pretty much certain that I wanted to go into medicine. And so I took courses that would fit
Mm-hmm.
the pre-requirements,
Yeah. That's awesome.
because otherwise I'd have to do extra years
Yeah.
to get what I should have had.
Yeah, and it's already a lot of years, so that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we can ask you just a few random questions now and then be done if that works.
Okay.
Okay. I guess what is your favorite thing about Manitowoc? Like your favorite event that they have or your favorite place or something you love about Manitowoc?
Sandra Ann Dickert.
Yeah.
Well, I know everything about Manitowoc. I've been a hometown.
Yeah.
People are nice.
Hmm.
Nice place to raise kids.
Yeah. Well, so everything really you like?
Well, they're sort of old townish.
Yeah.
People,
Do you like the beaches there?
beaches.
On Lake Michigan, like do you like being really close to the lake?
I like being able to go to the lake.
Yeah.
We decided not to live at the lake because it's colder.
Right, yeah.
Oh, on a hot summer day, that's okay.
Right, but
That's
not
when
in the
people
winter.
come down, drive down
Yeah.
in the evening just to get, and go home where it's really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Suppose you could say it's old maidish in a way,
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's changing too.
Mm-hmm.
No wait. Let me fix the mic one more time. It's going sideways.
Sorry.
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
not
my
you.
fault.
It's just because the collar of your shirt.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, perfect. What made you and Grandma decide to buy a house that had so much land? Like what did you like about the farmhouse?
Like the country,
Mm-hmm.
white farms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Grandma was raised in sort of a farm setting too. You remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where she used to live, the White Way.
Mm-hmm.
It's open, like the fact of open space.
Yeah.
could decide where the kids were, where they rode their bikes,
Mhm.
which worked out finally.
Yeah.
They're up and down the driveway.
Right. Yeah.
Until we found out Brian took some friends on the street
Oh.
to enjoy some beverages.
Yeah.
Sandy can give you the details.
Do you like having animals?
We did. We don't have any now. We probably won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked animals. We had heifers, which are female cows that have not yet had a calf,
Mhm.
oftentimes used for meat. We had some of those that we raised up. We had maybe half a dozen sheep that we got as lambs for the kids. And I got them down the street from the neighbor, brought them home, put them in the fenced-in field that we had behind the barns,
Mhm.
and kids yell, "Oh, that's mine!" They all had names right away.
Yeah. That's cute.
Well, took them to the county fair, and I think Kate won some blue ribbons
Yeah.
on a couple of things. I remember having to wash the lambs for her, because they're kind of dirty, filled with dirt and manure or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe Sandy said, "Well, use wool out." And the wool comes from lambs,
Mhm.
and so I tied them to a tree, rope this way, rope that way, so the animal wasn't going anyplace except a little bit here. Take the garden hose, wet it down, lather it up,
Yeah.
and then rinse off all the soap,
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
let it dry, and then take it to the county fair.
Yeah.
And she did win some things with them.
Yeah. I don't remember what, but I know that she won
I don't recall,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's see.
He had a goat, and we kept in the barn. And the kids liked that. And the goat would be a window here, and sort of like a desk or a tabletop. The goat would jump up on the, and went to look out. And
Yeah. That's cute.
That's
had
awesome.
a couple dogs. And Kate came up with a couple of cats.
Oh, really?
I think Brian had some too.
Yeah, probably. That's cool.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. What about Caitlin is wondering if you've experienced any paranormal events or
Paranormal?
yeah,
Like what?
Like ghosts.
Ghosts.
Ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had those in the farm too.
Oh, really?
Real ones.
Or like, have you ever been in like a haunted house or anything, or you don't believe in that kind of stuff?
I haven't been there yet.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We did have a shotgun available in the house though,
In case.
if I wanted to have need for it.
Yeah, that's true. What about, do you have any hidden hobbies or like secret talents or anything?
Secret talents. I have taken piano lessons. I got
Oh, really?
pretty advanced.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
You didn't know about that?
no.
Go back to see sister every week for lessons.
Oh, that's cool.
And she'd say, "Okay." I said, "I told you that. I said, you do it this way." So, "Well, sister, you get pages."
Yeah.
And they went back and forth, and I said, "This isn't going to work."
Yeah.
Quit. Oh. There's something else. Ask the question again.
Yeah, do you have any like secret hobbies that you don't really tell people or talents? And you mentioned the piano.
I took piano lessons. I took singing lessons.
Oh, really?
I got to the point that I was in a choir.
Oh,
Oh, I
really?
didn't know
And
that.
we do performances. And the instructor said, "We're going to have parents and guests coming now. But you up there, yeah, you would just move your lips, understand?
Okay.
And I could never figure out how he could tell that I was not where I should be with. But I talked to other people in music and say, yeah, they can tell by hearing and seeing, you know, who is the guy that's not.
Yeah. That's funny.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's see.
So I never was able to become a pianist or a vocalist.
Yeah. That's okay.
Are there any more questions that we have, or do we ask them all?
We asked most of them. Where did?
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, boy. I don't know if I have one.
Forrest Gump, Sound of Music.
Forrest Gump, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. What about? Let's see. I don't know. The rest is like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty much it.
If you have anything else you want to add,
Per se.
what's, like, give us a piece of advice or something. Or what's the biggest risk you've taken?
Biggest risk I've taken?
Yeah.
Well, according to society in general, I might have been getting married. But I thought I was pretty astute and
Yeah.
not making a decision.
Yeah.
So I didn't consider that a risk.
Yeah.
I would have hated to go through medical school and not pass the exams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
So I spent time studying for the exams too.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason I was in Madison that summer that I met your mom,
Yeah.
I was down there, I think to take some extra courses. That I couldn't get otherwise, or just to get more, I don't recall.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, good thing you did that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
none of us would be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
Well, then, yeah. Why don't you just tell us if you had to give us one piece of advice? What is it?
study hard, be honest,
Yeah.
don't cheat.
Those are all good.
alright, well, thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah. Thank you
You're
for sitting
You're
down.
welcome.
I feel this is really interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, lots of things I didn't know.
Yeah.
And our TV show is going to be awesome. Do you know what you want it to be called?
Say again?
Do you know what you want the show to be called?
I know what you mean.
Like all the videos.
I'm making, remember I told you I'm making it like episodes? Like
Oh.
5 different episodes? The Barry Show, maybe? Or...
I'll leave that up to your decision, whatever works best for you.
Awesome.
Okay. Well,
Alright. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Grandpa.
thank you.
Is your intent to put it on TV? Is that?
YouTube, probably.
Just for us to see.
Just only our family or
I never
whoever.
use YouTube, but should I know about it?
Nothing really. We'll just when Caitlin makes the videos, we'll just send we'll send them to you guys.
Yeah, we'll send them to you guys.
Yeah, it
YouTube.
just makes them easy to
And
send.
yeah, I mean, just for our family, or if you guys want to send to anyone, or who knows, maybe you'll go viral on YouTube and become famous. You never know.
You might be the one getting famous.
Yeah.
Never know.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
you're very
you.
welcome. Happy to help out. I'm sure you don't mean to embarrass me.
No, I don't think anything you said was embarrassing.